Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Salesforce Spirit. With this YouTube channel, uh, we are dedicated to helping you to master your skills in the Salesforce. So, whether you are a beginner or maybe if you are a seasoned professional, doesn't matter. I have created a lot many playlists which I'm going to gradually increase in the upcoming futures. But as of now, if you can see on the screen, I have like five separate playlists. Uh, Let me start with first one, which is the Salesforce admin, and there's a lot many videos you can see. Altogether, there are almost like 86 videos inside into this. So if you would go with this playlist, so this would give you uh, a learning a learning area, learning foundation skills that you can use to manage and customize the Salesforce admin portion, the non-coding portions rather. And this is much elaborated, I tell you. The second one in the series is your the development concepts, the Salesforce development rather. So with this playlist, again, there are a lot many videos. It's almost like 69 videos into them. So it is, if you would go with this, you're going to find like I have taken it from the basics of the programming skills to the to the deep dive concepts into the Apex, and it would also cover your visual force. It would cover the asynchronous programming concepts like your batch classes, your future method, queuable interface, and schedulable. And it also have videos over the test classes, how you can create a test class, how you can provide the test coverage, because that is again an important thing to learn for the developer. So yes, this is a detailed playlist. If you would go and if you wouldn't skip any one video, you will definitely going to learn uh, the programming portions of the Salesforce from beginning to the advanced. Next, I have with this playlist, which is Salesforce Integration Mastery. This is one which have like 24 videos inside in them. So with this one, I have explained like how we can connect our Salesforce environment with the another Salesforce, like Salesforce to Salesforce integration. And I have also included the most of the videos are where like how you can connect your Salesforce environment to the external environment, which are not the Salesforce environment. And after having that connection, what is the meaning of having authentication? How to perform the authentication? How to perform the authorizations? Then clearly, what are the differences? Which is again an interview question. In some of the interview, they would ask you like, what is the difference between authorization and authentication? So I have make those things clear with this with the videos inside in this playlist. So we're going to find like what are the different techniques of authentications and authorizations, how to create the RESTful web services. What does it means by a REST web service? What does it means by your JSONs? How you can perform the serialization and deserialization? How you can make up the use of tools like Workbench tool? How you can make the use of your Postman so that you can perform the testings of your APIs which you have created, and how you can perform your inbound integration, how you can perform the outbound integrations and all. So it is again a very elaborated playlist. Uh, Most of the people like find it very difficult when we talk about integration. They thought that it is something which is really complicated. But then, if you would believe me, what I feel personally about integration is this is really interesting one because if you really understand like how you can perform the integration and how to do this in real time is really interesting. So I have taken some of the common examples with some of the open sources APIs, because with the help of them, with have minimum what to say with have a minimum codings, with have minimum authorizations and authentication, you can like you can understand how you can see the outputs in the real time and everything. Okay, that is all being explained into this. Now, there's a whole new series which I am actually creating because and that is with the Lightning Web component. This one actually. So as of now, there are only three videos because it is something which is in progress right now. So as and when I found, as and when if I have time, I used to create these videos and upload them on the YouTube channel. This one is inside of this playlist. See, I have found that today it's a business need and it's a need of almost every client with every project that you must learn something called as Lightning Web Component, LWC. And you would also agree that in almost every interview, in almost every job description, whatever comes in the market, they would ask like, you must have a skill set of LWC. So LWC is something which is highly demanded these days. It's if you have this on your resume, if you say like, I have the experience with LWC, I know the concepts, I can deliver the requirements with the LWC. So you will be definitely, at least they will going to call you on the interview and they will, yeah. Beyond that, it's up to you. Like beyond that, the things are goes in your hand, like how you give the interview and everything. But at least your resume is going to be shortlisted, your profile, because there's an LWC have been written. They will going to shortlist and they would ask you to, and they would invite you for the interviews. And also LWC is definitely a highly demanded skill in these days. So the way which the way which I'm actually designing this playlist is the way which I usually have designed all other of them. So my way is to start the things from the very basic, because this is the reason why I have lot many videos comparatively to the other tutors. I have a lot many videos. You probably would have this in your mind also, that there are a lot many videos. And why? Because see, when you really wanted to learn something, it is always good that you should learn the things from the beginning, from the root of it, and then you gradually grow. It would also help, like it would always help that if you have the understanding, the deep understanding, the good understanding of the basic concepts. So it is always good to learn the things like this only. So with this playlist, uh, when I thought when the thought comes in my mind like how to start with this, so I found it like, before actually directly jumping into LWC, I should rather start with the basics, something basics. So what should be that? So then I researched a little bit on this and I came to know like, we should first learn the basic concepts of the JavaScript, some of the basic concept, not everything. Learning everything is really, sometimes it is useful, it's always useful rather. But then to LWC, uh, I I think that you must have a little bit understanding of JavaScript and the HTML portion. And so, uh, in this way, I mean, having this thought in my mind, I'm designing this playlist with some of the initial videos. Like I right now I have three of them. You can go and watch like what is there in the first, second, and third. So I have started with some of the basic concepts of JavaScript, and gradually after learning them, we are going forward, and then we'll dedicatedly start with the LWC. So that is how the things have been designed. Now, with my previous video, in my previous video, actually, I have explained a concept called a spread operator. Spread. Right now, this everything I have been commented out. These were the code which I have explained in my previous videos. So spread operator is definitely a JavaScript concept. So what is the purpose of spread operator? How it is advantageous, and how it helps you to create something called as a shallow copy. What is a deep copy concept? What is the shallow copy concept? How creating a shallow copy is advantageous in some of the real-time concept. So that everything has been explained in a very elaborated way. So that could be the reason you're going to find that there are two videos onto this, session 2 and session 3, that entirely is on the spread operator. So this is my way of explaining the things, and people used to tell me that you always elaborate things. What to say? You always elaborate it in a more, like you can make it short. But what I feel like, when you are teaching something, there are different set of people which sits, like there could be different set of people, those who have understanding, those who are already have some idea of programming, or maybe there are a lot many people those who don't learn, those don't, they are from a non-programming background. Maybe it could be possible that this is the first time that they are learning something. And that is the reason I keep it more elaborated. Anyways, so in my last video, when I was concluding my last video, I told that in my upcoming video, I'm going to explain some of the common looping techniques inside in the LWC. So uh, before prior concluding that video, I told that in my upcoming video I would be going to talk on three of them. Let me see whether I could finish them all three, which I found it difficult. I probably could connect one of them. Probably could complete one of them, like conventional for loop. Then there is something called as for off loop and for in. So we are going to learn these three: for off loop, for in loop, and the conventional for loop. And in after learning these two particularly, we are going to see like we're going to talk on. I'm going to talk on a comparative discussion where we would going to see under which circumstances, under which real-time circumstances, using for of is good, and under which circumstances of programming, real-time programming, for in is more advantageous to be used. So we're going to have that comparative study in the upcoming videos. Let me now start with the conventional for. So if you have a little understanding of programming, if you would have done any sort of programming in your past, maybe like, one second, maybe like if you have learned programming like C or C++, any sort of procedure oriented or object oriented programming, Java. So every programming, almost every programming these days, they have some sort of looping techniques. They have like loops, like they have for loop, they have while loop, do while loop, or any other form of loops. So in the JavaScript also we have do whiles, we have while, we have for. Now out of them, for if something which is more often used. Programmers and developers like me, like you, people find it a bit easy or something which is in the trend. So I'll not say that we don't have while, we don't have for, do while. We have, yes, of course, we do have these loops too. But more oftenly, people used to use the for loop. Okay. Now, inside in the for loop, it could have three forms, more than three also. I'm going to talk on them too. But oftenly we use a conventional for loop, either we use for off or for in. So let me now start with the conventional form of for. So by syntax, it looks like, before that, let me define an array so that I could have multiple values. And to which, to perform this iteration, I must have something called as array or maybe an object or something like this. So we have an array called as my favorite fruits or my favorite cars, something like this. Okay. So, oh, what happened? What just have happened? I couldn't probably have accepted that intelligence. So I have installed one of the helper called a Meson queue. Over here you can see this would help you out in the coding, and it gives you prior suggestions. Sometimes you can accept, sometimes you can reject. This depends on. Anyways, so my favorite car is the name of my favorite cars rather is the name of my array. Now inside in this array, I would be using certain values because I'm using string values. They all must have a format like this. They should always be included inside your double input comments. Okay. Next, I have like values like BMW. Next, I have like Benz, Mercedes, Benz, or whatever it is. So what I did is like I just have defined one array, like saving out the store. So, okay. So I have defined one array, and this array have all these three values. Now I wanted to visit individual of them. I wanted to visit each value. I wanted to iterate each value. Okay. So how I can perform that passing, how I can visit individual values of the array. So to perform this, to individually access the values of the array could also be an object, right? We use something called as loop. Here I would be using something called as your conventional for. Now this conventional for loop, as the intelligence just have shown me, I just have pressed the tab. That is the advantage of using your Amazon keywords. Anyways, see the conventional for loop, which is over here. Let me try to make you understand the syntax of this, first of all. So it have three portions. This is the first portion, which is separated by a semicolon. Semicolon acts as a separator between these three statements. So this is the first statement called as initialization. Second statement over here is called as the condition checking portion, and the third one, which is generally is for either incrementing or decrementing purpose, right? So a conventional for loop ideally looks like this, which have three different portions inside in this. So I have defined an integer value for this one, and which would represent the array index. Now, what is an array index is something is a programming concept. If you really wanted to learn this, I would rather suggest like, and there are a lot many good videos. I found it on the internet, found it on the YouTube. There are a lot many good speakers. And this is the advanced way of learning these days. Is if you wanted to learn something, people really have contributed their time, people really have contributed their efforts to make somebody learn. And really, this is what I would say. It's a revolution in the stage of learning. We are living in that era where people are really contributing. Uh, I may have started I may have started it very late, but then it's really good that people are doing this just for the sake of learning, for the goodwill inside in them. They are contributing something to their society via this all channels. So you can learn like the basic object oriented concepts. There are a lot many good videos here. I'll try to just summarize this one. So inside in the conventional for loop, we first define a variable, define a numeric variable. So in the JavaScript, we use let keyword for this. If you wanted to define a variable, you will use let keyword. Later on, we'll also use something called as a constant key. We'll also make a use of something called as var key. Var is one of the keyword by which you can define. So once gradually we're going to learn under which circumstances you would define a variable with var, under which circumstances you'll define a variable with something called as let, or maybe a constant, const. Okay, and with we're going to have a comparative study also, like what are the functional properties with the let, the functional properties with the constant, and the variables and everything. Just to null, I'll try to keep it simple. And sentence goes like, to define a variable, I would use something called as a let. Okay. Now, so I define something called as the initial value is 0. Why 0? Because array indexes are something which always starts with 0, and that's a programming rule. What is an array index? What is an array? Okay, you can definitely find out with some of the video that are over internet about object-oriented concept. Anyways, the second portion I'm comparing it, the value of the I, like the first, as initialized it is 0, and because there are three values inside the array, this function length, which is JavaScript function, it would eventually return me a value of the length of the array. It would give how many values are there, the count of the values that are there inside an array. So as of now, it would give me 3. So this would be a comparison whether the value 0, the value of I, current value of I, as of now it is 0, whether the 0 is less than 3. And the condition is true. Yes, 0 is of course less than 3. So once the condition is true, it would enter inside your loop, would enter inside the loop, the body of the loop rather, and then it would going to print out this. I'm going to show you like how we can print this in another form. Right now, this was something which was being provided with the intelligence of Amazon Q, which I have accepted. I'll write down one more statement after this. After once we see the output, and I'll show you a more fascinated way to print out, to make the use of dynamic operator, to use of dynamicity. Okay, we'll talk on later on this. So it would enter inside in the loop because condition is true. 0 is less than 3. It would print it out. After that, it goes to again perform the increment of the value 0, 0 plus plus. Would it make it? This is an one increment. It's an something called as incremented by 1. If you would put minus minus, it would get decremented by 1. Okay. So right now, because it's an ascending increment, so it would perform 0 plus 1 would give you 1. Again, it would perform the condition checking whether 1 is less than 3. Yeah, it is less than 3. It would again come inside in the loop, not come out, come inside in the loop, print this out for the second time. Again, go back. Because I now is holding 2, 1, 1 plus 1 would give you 2. It would perform the checking whether 2 is less than 3. Yeah, condition is again true. And so it would again print it out. So this is going to be my third time it was printing the third value. And because it has printed 0, the zeroth index value was Audi. The first index would be BMW. I with having value as 2. So 2 would be like, 0, 1, and 2. It would print Benz. Now it would increment the value 2 plus 1 will give you 3. It would going to check whether 3 is less than 3. Condition false. 3 is not less than. 3 actually is equals to. But I haven't used equals to operator, right? There's only one operator which is less than. So 3 is not less than 3 and condition is false. It would not go inside in the body of loop, which is this. Rather, the control ends up. This is the way it is going to print this out. And let me now show you the output of a conventional form. So for this, I first of all would save this code. You can see this white dot over the name over here. It shows like your code hasn't been saved. So for that, Control S is the shortcut. Otherwise, you can go to the file menu and do it like this only. Yeah, but I always, I always say that you should learn the shortcuts. Should always learn the shortcuts, right? So Control S is something which I just have pressed. Now to see the output. Now to see the output in my last video also, I have explained that see the way which we are going to see the output of an LWC component is going to be altogether a different. Okay, it's altogether a different way to see the output. To see the output of an LWC. Because when we will when we start with the LWC, what we are going to do, we actually would deploy this LWC component from your VS Code environment to the actual Salesforce on. And how to perform those deployments and everything would be the part of discussion that time. Now, because we are not learning exactly LWC, rather we are learning a JavaScript concepts. So in my previous video also, I have told you that you should you have to install. I mean, if you wanted to see the output of this, you should have to install an extension called as Go Live, which I probably did this in my first video. In my first video, I have told like how to install the live server of live. I guess that is live server. Live server. So this is that extension which I have already installed. You can see if you would do it for the first time, you are going to have this button over here, right? Because I already have installed it out, so I don't have the options. I don't have this install option, but you can find this out in my first video where actually I have shown like what is the need to install this live server and everything. So this is essential when you are checking the outputs of your JavaScript. So there are two ways by which you can launch a live server. Either you can, with simplest one is like you go to the bottom. This is strip. I don't know what's the name of this tab. Tab bar usually come over top. What is the name? I don't know. But anyway, this strip usually shows the other options. So many options. One of them is go live. Click to run the live server. Right. There is one another way you can make a click over here, and there is one another way that you have to go to your HTML file and you'll have to make a right click somewhere around over this HTML, and you'll find out one option over here, open with the live server, right? So you can click like this, and this option comes only when you make a click on the HTML portion. See, if I try to do the same thing on my JavaScript portion, there is no option. There is no option for that open live server. So that comes when you click on the HTML portion, and the shortcuts are horrible. Don't use that. Alt L, Alt O. How would I press it out? So लेफ्ट हैंड से अल्टर नहीं, राइट हैंड से अल्टर एल, okay, and alter O. I don't feel this is comfortable. This is not feasible, right? Rather, हम क्या करेंगे? Either I can do like, I can make a right click onto the HTML portion, like over here, and I'll try uh, find out this open live server, or rather, यहाँ से जाएंगे. Right now, I'll be using this. So I'm clicking onto this, and this would eventually open a separate tab in my browser. And to this browser, it's actually giving the HTML output, but I wanted to see with the JavaScript portion. So I will inspect it out. To open that inspect window, right click and inspect. This is one thing. This is one way. The another way, the shortcut from the keyboard, Control plus Shift plus I. I for what? I for ink. I for ice cream. Okay. So this is the way. And then if you would have landed on any one of the tab, you have to go to something called as console. Why? Why? Because you wanted to see the output of console. Okay. So I what I wanted to see is like my favorite cars are. Let me try to write out one statement. Or prior to that, let's see the output. It is giving you already BMW Benz, right? This is if you would make any changes. Like let me try writing down one statement. My my favorite cars equals to. Start printing this out. Okay, this is also one of the way wherein I could have a certain sentences, and then I'm not sure whether we have to include the plus or what. I guess not. Oh no, it's required. Sheet. Immediately I got an error. So plus this is also same like your Apex. And once you have saved this out, you can come back to your browser. You can refresh by this or Control Shift R would eventually clear your cache and print out the new outputs. And now you can see my favorite cars are already BMW Benz. This is the out. Okay. So this is the way like how with the help of a conventional for loop, you can perform something called as iteration, something called as iterating the value of an object, iterating the values of your arrays. And you can visit single value, you can access every individual value. Okay. I was also saying like, there's one another way by which you can print up the outputs. There's one another way by which you can print the outputs. And let me try to show you that. Okay. How you can print the same thing, but in a different fashion. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to again use something called as my console.log. And now I'll show you one another way, a more what to say, a more trendy way, a more fascinating way to printing the value. So if you would write down this statement, people would thought, oh, this person is a pro in programming. Okay, so I'm using this symbol. This is not a single inverted comma, by the way. This is a symbol. I'm not exactly know the name of the symbol, but it is present inside in your numerical keyboard. If you are using your laptop, uh, on the top most row, the second row or first row, whatever. So you're having prior to one key, prior to numerical one key, there is a key, the small key, which have two symbols, right? Let me show it out. So if you have this symbol, you have this symbol, and the another symbol is this one. Okay, so you have to use it out. You have to use it out. Now, what I'm going to do is like, I'm going to do is like let me remove this space. Yeah. Inside in this symbol, sometimes this intelligence irritates you. Okay. So inside in this symbol, you have to use something called as a dynamic operator, which is dollar. Dynamic operator. Okay. So dynamically it can get the value, and dynamic operators they are always used with this curly brackets. Okay. So I will print a statement like I, because I is initialized with the 0, I'll make I plus 1. 0 plus 1, what it is? 1. 1 dot, any symbol equals to, you can have this, you can have something like this. And it's okay, it's okay. I'm putting dot, but dot does not signify anything. And you will going to understand this when you see the output. Now again, I would print something, I write something like dollar, that should always be used with curly brackets, and I will use like my favorite cars, which is the name of my array. Okay, which is the name. And okay, now let me save this out. Check it out. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, that seems to be good. Okay, I just have saved this Control S, and I'll go back to my browser and I'll see it. Okay, let me do one more thing. Let me refresh this entire output. I'll I'll make this live once again so that you would have the fresh. So I just have started this uh, live server. I'll press Control Shift and I, or either you can go and inspect like this and go to the console, fail to save, reload. Let me try reloading this once again. Something which is happening bad. This one. Let me try to debug this out. So, like, so well, this is not the error. Close properly. Try saving it out. Close this. I should call. Sometimes it happens all because of the caching, because browser's memory is very limited, and browser's memory, sometimes it produces the error. So try with this technique, opening the live server. HTML portion is actually good. I'm just fetching issue with the console part, and that is fine. Yeah. So this is very random issue. Maybe you would also find it out. So if you're finding this kind of issue, what you have to do, just have to close that window out. So close that code. Sometime it is all because of the interconnection between your VS Code and the live server extension. Sometime it is all because of your the caching portion, the browser's cache memory. It is very limited form of memory, although. So there could be a number of enormous reasons for this. You don't have to worry. You just have to close it out, reset it all, and then bring with the fresh one. Now this we were already getting right. This the value is na, so it's not getting the value of it's not getting the why it is happening. This is again. So here it is not, but for this one it is getting the value. Something did I left out something? Should I make it just like only and see what is the difference? We would find it out. My boss. Okay, let me try saving it out. Let's go back. Okay. I'm not sure why this is happening. Might be I have made a little typos over here. Could be a reason. Let me try removing this comma. Maybe that was something I have introduced. If now I would save it out. Yeah, that was the reason. So comma was not expected. Comma was not expected over here. I inserted a comma and I have produced that error by my own. Anyways, so I wanted to talk more about this. So when you are using an operator called as dynamic operator called as dollar operator. So dollar operator provides you a facility to perform certain dynamic actions. Now with this example, it seems to be like, oh, both of them are same. Why we are using the dollar? Okay. Why we are using, we can all, this one seems to be more simpler option, more feasible option, more easy to write option, more user friendly option. Yes, yes, I'm agreed. I'm totally agreed with you, the thought which that is coming right now in your mind. I'm totally agree with this, right? Because this is a simple example, right? And you might not find this dollar, the way of writing this one. as more advantageous, or rather you're feeling this seems to be a little complicated. Why should I go with this? Maybe this is the thought that is coming to your mind. If you, I'm totally agree with this. But listen this way carefully. So in the upcoming days, there would be a lot many circumstances. There would be a lot many programming situations wherein we wanted to access something dynamically in the program. There would be a lot many real-time example wherein the requirement would be to access something dynamically. At that portion of program, at that portion of requirement, we would going to extensively use a dollar. But right now, if it hasn't created any impression on your mind, I'm totally agree with this. Maybe this would also have happened with me if I would have learned this for the first time. मैं भी यही सोचता जो आप इस पर सोच रहे हैं. लेकिन आने वाले वक्त में आने वाले समय में देयर वुड बी अ लॉट मेनी सिचुएशन जहां हमें रियलाइज होगा कि now the requirement would be to access certain programming components dynamically, certain programming properties, certain values dynamically. That time uh, dollar would provide you, dollar would actually facilitate that, that dollar would provide a way to perform this. तब हमें इसका इम्पोर्टेंस ज्यादा अच्छे से महसूस. Okay, so that is the reason, that is my primary reason why I have introduced this dollar operator in the beginning of this, right? Okay. I feel that is enough for the conventional for loop. A lot many people already have the understanding with this one. If they did with certain programming in the past, if they have experience with us any form of programming, they already know what is a conventional for loop. But for me, uh, becomes a responsibility when you are creating a content on a certain topic and you wanted that people should learn, you should always start with the basics. That's why this has become my responsibility to take this one. Otherwise, like you, I'm also interested in making the videos of for off foreign and have that comparison. But that we are, let's try to keep the video short. So I'm not sure how much time has been gone. But anyways, with my next video, with my coming videos, I would be explaining about for off, and I'll try to finish in a single video. I'll try to finish these two, and would also have a comparison of the situations wherein we would be using foreign or maybe for off. So that's all for today. That's all for this video, and I wouldn't say go and subscribe my channel if you feel that you should be connected with me in some ways. I would also like to request the comments of yours. If you wanted me to improve, if you wanted me to uh, have certain rectifications in the way which I'm teaching, you can definitely comment me out. It's something like, it's a give and take thing. I'm giving you something to learn. At the same time, I believe that I can learn a lot many things from your comments. So if you feel I should improve on certain factors, if you wanted me to include something more in all this learning process, in all these videos, you can definitely comment it out. And if you like it, you can like it out. Thank you for giving your time this learning. And I promise to come up with more informative videos. Thank you.